Looking as the flowers, I sit for hours, telling all the bluebirds, the Bellum birds, pretty little baby, I'm so in love with you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this video is not going to have some crazy hook. This video is going to be plain and simple. If you want to get better at Bellum, that's why you're here, okay? If you don't want to be better at Bellum, you can keep on scrolling. No need for you to waste your time. Why do I say that? Well, we've noticed that the new player base has come through, and there's nothing wrong with the new player base. You don't know what you don't know. And you only utilize habits and systems that you're used to and that you know that you can apply from your own experiences. So a lot of guys coming from Arma, Squad, other milsim games, and they're playing this game, Bellum, like it's a milsim game. That's where we're kind of getting a weird friction point with the community, is because this game is a once in a decade kind of game. This game reminds me a lot like Project Reality and like 2015 Squad, where it was very infantry focused and you only had success if people actually worked together and were a cohesive unit, and they knew real world tactics and applied them as best they could in a video game. Now, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. This is just our personal opinion, and I say our as in a plural because at the Warfighting Society we've talked about this extensively at length. We talked about the different tactics, how we can use them, what works, what doesn't work, and we essentially just have a discourse, right? And we try and get better, make each other better. Rising tides raise all ships. No ego, and take the game serious, not ourselves. Those are a few mottos that we have. So grab a snack, grab something to drink, relax, kind of just take it all in, and whatever questions, comments, or concerns you have, please drop them in the comment section below. The interaction not only boosts views for the video, I'll be transparent about that, but it also creates this forum, a public forum, which we can debate respectfully and talk about the different tactics and what we think works and what we don't and what doesn't work. And if you like that, please join the Discord. I'll have a link down in the description. But with all that being said, let's get that out of the way and let's start. So what you're seeing right now, for context, is we have pushed up to the school. If you know what the school is, you know where this is at. If you don't know what the school is, it's an objective area on the map that, or not objective area, it's a point of interest on the map that most people would like to, they would like to hold it or they use it as a key terrain feature, okay? Now, what you don't see here and what you didn't see for context is that we had just gotten into a firefight with some insurgents in this school, right? We're playing as a ranger regiment. The enemy is the Al-Zalam insurgents. We have, for context, we have a machine gun squad on the north side. We are approaching from the east, right? So as you're looking at it, we're coming up from the east side of the school. Off to our right on the north is a machine gun squad, and they have cordoned off, or they have sectioned off and covered down on the west as well. So enemies are prevented from either reinforcing or withdrawing from this objective area. Because we're approaching from the east, we also have that side covered as well as the south. And already, here's a point to make. Most people, most squads, at this point would be trading pot shots and blindly suppressing for about 10 minutes before any kind of offensive action happened. And this is where we're going to introduce the trifecta, which is going to be speed, surprise, and balance of action. There's 3 of them. Again, speed, surprise, and balance of action. And so the way this is going to be used is we don't have surprise anymore. The enemy knows we're here. So we're going to use speed and balance of action to gain a foothold and finish clearing the school. Check this out.
Frag the school one more time. Go for frag.
There should be guys in there.
Ready to move, ready to move. We're gonna pinch it from left and right. Bravo left, Alpha right. Ready?
Oh, let's go.
Push, balance of action. Balance of action. Get in there.
All right, we're gonna rewind because I wanna talk about a few things. So I apologize, my dogs are barking. If you hear them in the background, oops. But so a few things to note here as I'm rewinding. So we talked about we no longer have surprise, but we do have speed and we do have balance of action still within our control. We lose surprise, so we need to compensate the lack of surprise with higher speed and more violence. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to go ahead and coordinate with another element, another team in my squad. If you heard me, I said we're going to pinch it from left and right. We're pinching it in such a way where our angles of fire or geometries of fire are clean, meaning we're not shooting at each other. We're shooting at such a way where we're shooting at the enemy, but we don't have to worry about fratricide or blue on blue. So we're going to frame by frame this. So radio up, hey, we need to frag it. If you saw earlier, I started the assault with a frag. When you throw a frag grenade, you have a very small window to exploit that frag grenade. That frag grenade not only kills, but it concusses and it has a somewhat suppressing factor to it. So here's the first frag. It's a great frag, by the way. The frag goes off. Right, there's a smoke. Excuse me. Now, we don't know where the enemy is. We know roughly where he is. So as I'm turning the corner, as point man, which I shouldn't have been as a squad leader, I'll eat that. I recognize the threat immediately is more than likely they're going to be inside that school. Here comes a second frag over the wall. Also, I'll eat that. He threw it late. I should have waited until I had confirmation all frags were thrown. It goes in, also a good frag. Now, check this guy out. He pops out. I guarantee you this dude is concussed. Like, he is dazed. My job as the point man, and this is where the violence of action and speed come into play. I need to get around that corner quickly. Not only do I need to get around this corner quickly, but it's not only for my safety, but so I can essentially pull the rest of my unit in. And then as point man, I see a threat. I am not going to take slow, well-aimed shots to neutralize a threat. My job as point man is to lay down so much hate and discontent at that dude. So I am trusting the guys behind me to take those slow, well-aimed shots. I don't know what killed this guy. It could have been a grenade. It could have been the dudes behind me. It could have been me, and he bled out from my shots. But let's go frame by frame. He pops out. What you can't see is that there's actually 3 more dudes behind me. He has to choose which one of us he wants to shoot first. Luckily for all of us, he just straight misses. Again, probably because of the frags, and he's concussed. So I start spraying him down. He's not getting shots off. That other frag you see in the right-hand corner is the other team that we have pinching. I think that was a bad frag. So we'll acknowledge it, bad frag. But they still have to push through. The gig is up. There's the third frag grenade. If you weren't tracking, there was a third one on the left side. That probably is the one that killed him. Not going to lie to you. There's one body right there, right past the rubble, if you can see.
Violence of action. Get in there.
I'm yelling at my squad, violence of action. We have to exploit this frag grenade. We have the momentum, right? We have the upper hand. They had the upper hand at first by being 1, in a fortified position, 2, information and knowledge that we were coming, and 3, they had the means and methods and motivation to hold the building. However, what they weren't ready for is how fast we were going to flow in and the amount of violence that we were going to apply onto them. And there it is. You see the guy that originally peeked me. He's now dead. Whoever killed him, awesome. Good for you. We're going to continue. All right. So with that speed, surprise, and violence of action, the more you practice it, the easier it becomes second nature. And I say all that because at first, when I was first taught the trifecta, it became difficult for me to recognize when I lost one of the 3 and which one of the 2, if not both, I had to compensate with. At the end of the day, if you recognize that, hey, they know I'm coming, then I need to be faster than them, and I basically need to shoot more than them and kill more of them. That's essentially the answer. Or, hey, I have the element of surprise and I have 240s with me. I may not be as fast and as mobile as the enemy, but if I can surprise them and lay it down on them, I'm probably going to win that firefight as well. I may not have enough weapons with me to be as violent as I need to be, but if I can be quick and I can still catch them off guard, I could probably take out a good chunk, right? So there you see the trifecta. I'll put a graphic up here, but there's a trifecta of essentially offensive maneuver within Bellum, right? Taking real world tactics and applying them to the Bellum space. What you're about to see now is we're going to essentially do a BDA, a battle damage assessment. You could call it SSE, sensitive site exploitation. Some people call it TSE, tactical site exploitation. But all we're doing here is we're going and we're looking for intel that we can collect to help us refine the search area for a cache site. Full transparency again, I did get smoked by a bushwookie. You are never going to do any of these tactics and not sustain casualties. If you don't sustain casualties, that is awesome. but expect to sustain them. I was one of them. Luckily enough, we had a good medic on our team, on our squad. He picked me up almost immediately after the firefight was over.
Hey, they know we're gonna be here, so let's kind of dip, potato chip.
All right, so you hear me say, hey, they know we're going to be here. Let's go ahead and dip. I say that because in this game mode specifically, a lot of players, what they're doing wrong is after a firefight, they will sit there. I don't understand why. Think about it like this. If you were the squad that just got wiped on that location right there, what are you going to do? I'm probably going to tell everyone else on my team what just happened. And two, I'm going to go back for revenge. Those two options are more likely to occur than anything else. So with that being said, we need, as the aggressors at this point, to leave. Because all it's going to take, right, is the enemy to reconstitute, gather more forces, and then try and fix us now in this position. So we need to leave.
Let's get out of here, boys.
Chief said, sir. Sounds Gucci. Honor. Gun team 1, gun team 1, 1, 2, you guys ready? Ammo. Bravo can provide ammo because we redeployed.
All right, you heard just now one of my fire team leaders. And fire team leaders, this is the squad success literally rides on you, fire team leaders, because there's something called the point of influence and the point of friction. The squad leader is the point of influence. He's like the puppet master. The squad leader's weapons, per se, are going to be the fire teams themselves. And if the fire team leaders aren't doing their job, it's very difficult for the squad leader to actually get anything to happen. So fire team leaders are the bulldogs. They're the dudes that say, hey, excuse me, the squad leader said we need to flank. Get up, let's flank. Or hey, we need to shoot this area right now. Everyone starts suppressing this area. Or hey, ACE reports. If you don't know what an ACE report is, I'll throw it up on the screen as well. It stands for ammo, casualties, and equipment. I'll put that diagram up there. You can look at it. You can pause the video, just read it real quick, and then we can continue with the video. So we're going to move on to momentum and tempo. Now, for all you tactical nerds out there, where you're doing one of those, actually, like, I understand there's doctrinal definitions, but in this case, you want to be doctrinally sound, not doctrinally bound. Right? Spirit of the law over letter of the law, because it's great to know the doctrinal definitions and the textbook tactic, but those are built for perfect world scenarios curated for that situation. In games like Bellum and in real life, it's never going to be perfect world. You're going to have to use doctrinal foundations, adjust and tweak as necessary to fit the problem set in front of you. And here, we're going to talk about momentum and tempo. Momentum is going to be, think micro level. That is going to be the squad. In Bellum's case, in context of Bellum, the squad is going to be who pushes the momentum or sustains the momentum or loses it. Tempo is going to be macro. Think of the platoon, right? The platoon can keep their op tempo, their operational tempo. How fast can they sustain the fighting, or how fast can they sustain themselves pushing and aggressing? But in order to have a good op tempo, you need to have really good momentum from your squads. And I want you to pay attention to our momentum here. We're going to roll the clip and I'll rewind it.
2 times.
I got enemies in the trench in front of me.
Raj, 1-1, pull it back towards the school.
Dropped one.
Maneuvers limited. Line it up.
Start sweeping. Wait. Nope. We're gonna try and well-aimed shot. Start sweeping.
Now leaving 2 or 3 down, guys.
Hey, trailers. I want you to collect intel.
On my left. Anticipate contact from your north. They could be slipping through depending on how large the animal is.
In front of you, right here.
Hey, 4, can you spare 1-5 to go help 1-1 get back up? Sounds like I'm shooting southwest.
Hey, now's the time to push. Now's the time to push. Platoon lead. We've wiped an enemy squad over here, pinning you guys down.
Raj, if you guys feel confident, then yeah, 3 and 2 work together. Push down. 4, we're gonna wait and get 1 up, and then we'll bounce south as well.
Blue.
4 copies. We got 180 to the south. Yeah, this run to my front, Bravo. Put suppression up. He's prone. Check, we're clearing the unit.
Bravo team, let's get a base of fire. Bravo, base of fire in this rock.
4, come on, Bravo. On the school.
Bound up to that fucking rock. Bound up to the rock. Throwing a frag. Exploit the frag. Push.
Situation is stabilizing. We're kind of in a stalemate at the moment. Raj, 1-1, as soon as you're able, you're breaking contact back towards the school.
I got one down. One size enemy.
6-2. We'll need the ORP in maybe 20 minutes. Working casualties.
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and rewind this thing. Which I'm gonna go ahead and click with it. Let me see here. Be a little bit easier than trying to. So we're gonna talk about momentum here, and then we're gonna talk about tempo, and then an acronym that I want you guys to remember. All right, so what you saw was, for context, our platoon was being pinned down by an enemy squad, which was this enemy squad. Again, we're sweeping east to west. Our friendlies are to our north, which is our right-hand side, our right shoulder, and we're sweeping perpendicular to them. They're trying to lay down a base of fire while we sweep, right? So it's a very textbook base of fire and a maneuver element. Our squad's sweeping through. What I want you to notice is the squad is not running to our deaths, right? This is where I talk about momentum, right? You need to control the momentum. We engage with the enemy, and you have one of my squad mates ask me, hey, do we want to open up? No. The reason why we don't want to open up is because the rifle report, which is the sound in which your rifle makes after you shoot, if you make a lot of noise, the enemy tends to start changing their direction of fire or their attention towards you. As you saw, we were behind them. If we were to go full auto blasting with the saw, that would gain their attention really quickly, but we have suppressed M4s. So we're going to try and use that to our advantage. This is where surprise comes into play. This is also where speed comes into play. Not so much violence of action yet. We're kind of tamping down the violence of action, but we're compensating again with speed and surprise. So here we go. I dropped one. This is where he asked me to start opening up. I say no. These guys have no idea we're behind them. Here's this guy. Go frame by frame here. You see his body flail. There it is. There's a headshot. That's 2. We're going to continue. At this point,
Like intel.
I see someone moving in the bushes. That's 3. They still have no idea we're here. Speed and surprise, right? The violence of action is coming from our base of fire unit from the platoon. So the trifecta of speed, surprise, violence of action doesn't have to stay within your unit. You can utilize those 3 things across the entire platoon. Again, violence of action coming from the platoon, speed and surprise coming from the maneuver element, which was my squad. All right, you heard that gun? That is a rifle report. Instantly, you see me spin around. I'm like, uh-oh, that's close. We see his silhouette. Well-aimed shots. I know that he doesn't see me yet, or at least he has no idea where I'm at, because I am not feeling the effects of suppression. I think in this moment, he's still aiming at the platoon to the north. If you look at the watch right there, you can see the watch on my character. It kind of shows you where everyone is in the AO at the moment.
Anticipate contact from your north. They could be slipping through depending on how large.
Right-hand side coming from the screen, you see a buddy. He's starting to sweep. Geometries here are not clean. 100%. We'll recognize it off the bat. I'll eat that. He's essentially shooting back at friendlies, and honestly, so am I, right?
In front of you, right here.
So we killed the one guy in the trench, the guy by the tree, the guy in the bush, that's 3. We killed this RPD gunner. I don't know if this is, it believes like he was 1, so that's 4 people so far.
Hey, now's the time to push. Now's the time to push platoon lead. We
There was a 5th guy, didn't know about it. He had no idea what was happening.
wiped an enemy squad over here, pinning you guys down.
Again, speed and surprise, even though we were not slinging lead like that, the speed and surprise was enough to take over this area. There's 2 bodies right there. All right, now I need to do a face-to-face. We don't, in real life, we have something called a lead trace. We'll use air panels. I know the Army, they use like a Moses pole or something like that. But basically, we would have some sort of signal plan to signify, hey, look, this is the furthest where the maneuver element is. Shift and lift your fires from there. I won't get too much into shifting and lifting in this video. But we don't really have a way in-game other than like the watch or the ATAC in-game to track friendly forces. So I'm going to do this quick face-to-face.
Blue, 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 blue.
4 copies. We got 180 to the south.
And then we'll continue. Now listen to what my fire team leader says as we take more contact now to our southwest.
Suppression up.
You heard that? Get suppression on. Again, fire team leaders, if you like playing a fire team leader, it is imperative of you to be initiative-based tactics. Have initiative-based tactics. You need to be a critical thinker. You're not playing checkers. You're playing chess. You're trying to think 3 or 4 steps ahead of the enemy. You hear the base of fire. You hear the base of fire, right?
Check, we're clearing the unit.
Now, here's the acronym. SAMK. I'll put it up on the screen. Suppress, assess, move, kill. What does that mean? So you hear the suppression, right? We've identified an enemy, and so now we're going to suppress him. As we suppress him, we need to assess. What are we assessing? We're assessing effects of our suppression. We're assessing where we are in the battle space, where our buddies are on the battle space, and what the most advantageous piece of terrain closest to me would be in the event and as I'm trying to move up. From there, once I identify all those things, I'm now going to move to that advantageous piece of terrain. It could be micro terrain, which is simply a rock. It could be a whole trench like the one I'm about to get into. Then you're going to move into kill, right? Suppress, assess, move, kill. I've moved to the trench. We are now going to, you'll see it, throw a grenade, and then we'll end up killing the dude. That little algorithm, that SAMK algorithm, is how we were able to take this fortified position, if you want to call it that, or a hardened covered position from an enemy who has the high ground and still win the firefight. Suppressing.
Bravo team,
I'm assessing where you saw where I assessed my friendlies. I assessed where I'm going next. I'm assessing where I want to move to and telling other people where to move.
get a base of fire, Bravo. Base of fire in this rock.
I don't know what that guy was doing. I'm gonna be real. I have no idea what that guy was doing.
Bound up to that fucking rock. Bound
Now we're gonna talk about moving and transitioning into the kill.
up to the rock. Throwing a frag.
Telling him to bound up to the rock.
Exploit the frag.
Again, violence of action. Here we go. Speed, surprise, violence of action. We don't have surprise. Speed, violence of action.
Raj, 1-1, as soon as you're able, you're breaking contact back towards the school.
And he's dead.
I got one down. One size enemy.
6-2, we'll need the ORP in maybe 20 minutes.
And just like that, you have a base of fire supporting a maneuver, utilizing speed, surprise, violence of action, and then the SAMK algorithm to essentially unpin a whole platoon and get them moving again. We took the momentum of our squad sweeping through that kill zone to then pivot to another area in which the enemy was trying to hold out and kept the momentum going. Boom. Now our platoon can start moving again. We use our momentum to unlock the tempo for our platoon to continue. I'm going to fast forward through this. I think it was the kill count was 7 or 8. So a whole squad. I'm going to fast forward through. We were collecting intel. Blase, blase, blah. I think I'm just bullshitting on the radio at this point. All right. Now we're going to go into more of the momentum and the tempo. Okay. This is a different version of how to use momentum and tempo. In this clip, actually, I'm just going to roll the clip.
I found it. 1-3 has cash. We're blowing it now. We're blowing it now.
3 squad members coming wrong. 4 squad members coming in from your north. 1-1, send me a medic to 1.
Excuse me.
Net call. Burning.
Stay with me. Let's up security up here. Medics isn't out from 1-1.
1-3. Cash destroyed.
Beautiful.
Ooh, that was cool.
All right. Few things off the bat. Context. We had just finished with that squad wipe, and the platoon is now on the move again. They're picking up their tempo. Through the intel collected, we were able to identify that actually one of the caches were really close to us. So we asked permission from 1-6. We're like, hey, can we go take care of this cache while you guys kind of reconsolidate? I had full strength. I was about 75% on ammo. And so I felt it was critical thinking was telling me, hey, we're close. We have the ability to sustain this. Let's go ahead and take care of it. So we push through, we get it. Now, what you don't see is that in the initial part of this clip that we had 360-degree security around the cache, but we didn't clear the entire area. In Bellum, you will never have 100% clearance of an AO. There's always a bush Wookiee. There's always some dude in a window watching you from afar. The main thing I want you to take away from this is we continued to the momentum from that squad wipe in the previous clip to propel us forward to getting to the cache, planning the charge, blowing it up, and leaving. Now, here's the biggest takeaway. We did not stay on the cache. We set the charge down and we dipped. There's no reason for us to be there anymore. We ignited it. what more reason is there to stay? Good thing we left because they had an IED on that cache, and lo and behold, we blow the cache. They recognize it's gone off the map. They blow the IED. That IED would have killed most of us if we had stayed there. Just off rip, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 dudes in frame right now, 5 including myself.
Close. Holy cow, that was an IED.
All right. So all that to say, don't get stalled and don't let an opportunity bypass you because you are scared to keep moving and scared to keep the momentum going. Again, don't rush to your death, right? Only if you have the means method to do so. All right. Next, we're gonna go into logistics. So how do we sustain the fight? We can talk all day long till we're blue in the face about speed, surprise, and violence of action, about Sam K, about momentum and tempo, but eventually all that is going to get stopped by the fact that we have to rearm, right? We don't have an infinite amount of ammo. So how do we do this? And how do we do this in a way that is going to be beneficial to the platoon? Again, specifically talking about exploitation game mode in the game Bellum.
Last man.
So for context, we are getting called back to a strong point, which is the school you saw in the first clip, where the platoon leader wants the whole platoon to reconsolidate. He has what's a new feature, really. It's called a patrol base. And essentially, it's a place for the entire platoon to rearm without having to go all the way back to the FOB to rearm. So you can stay in the AO and stay in the fight and keep the pressure going, keep that tempo moving without having to lose all the momentum and tempo by running back to the FOB.
Crossing dwarf.
Yep, you're good.
Good, we have security posted.
Room 3 has bags.
I'm so gutted about that initial school push. We got halted for like a good bit before they stormed.
All right, I already know what's going to happen. Everyone in the comments is going to be like, oh my goodness, you guys are clumped together. Where's your dispersion? Fully aware, fully tracking. Trust me, we talked about it afterwards. But it's good that people are recognizing that. And if you recognize this, good on you, right? That means you're thinking.
Oh my god.
Don't do this. Again, another mistake I'll eat. We should have waited. I should have told my squad, hey, wait till they're done. Then we'll rotate through grabbing ammo.
That's a lot of backpacks. Alright, once you're resupply, get out to the west. Let's get security facing west.
Get out.
The ring around the cache is also a ring from the edge of the AO to the cache. Cache is not that much.
Okay, gotcha.
Not the ring we see, the ring they see.
All right, context. Here we go. This is going to set the stage for the next clip. All right. And the next clip is going to be the climax of the video or the game, right? This is the second cache, which is the final cache. And we are now essentially reorganizing to go back on the offensive. What you see on your screen right now is you're going to see a few yellow circles with black arrows underneath it, a purple circle, and a red circle. Up until this point, I haven't really explained for the newer players or people who've never played Bellum before what exploitation game mode is. And what it is you are essentially in a big ass search and destroy mission as a platoon. You have to find 2 enemy caches or drain their manpower reserves or tickets all the way down to 25%. Okay. They can win by gaining 100% influence by keeping at least 1 cache up and running in the AO. And they can rearm off their cache every 30 minutes, the same way we can rearm off our PB every 30 minutes. The purple circle is the AO, right? If you're not in the AO, you're not generating influence. The red circle is the area in which the cache is supposed to be. That's a big circle you can see right now. But the more intel you collect, as we talked about before, the smaller that red circle is going to get. Charlie 7-1 at the top of my ATAC is going to be myself, 1-3, and Karmakut Squad 1-2, where we are going to be a north to south maneuver element, while 1-4, 1-5, and 1-1 are going to be a support by fire on the west side at Oscar 2-2 and Yankee 2-3.
Going with 2 to Charlie 7-1. You guys are going to be assaulting from Charlie 7-1.
Give me all my leaders real quick.
All right. This right here is going to be part of the momentum and the tempo. And this is also going to be a cohesion and coordination lesson. First things first, we can talk about, same with logistics, we can talk about all that stuff in the beginning of the video and halfway through the video. We're at the end now. None of that matters if you aren't cohesive. There's no cohesion and no coordination. You could be the best tactician ever, but if you're doing it by yourself, you're not going to get far. If you're doing it with just your squad, you're not going to get far. This is a very, very well-designed game that forces a function of teamwork and cohesion in order to be successful. If you don't have those two things, you're wasting your time on this game. You're playing the game to lose, basically. All that being said, we're going to talk about and point out certain cohesion and coordination things in this video, as well as some self-reflection, not only on my end, but hopefully, a smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man or wise person will learn from others' mistakes. So I want you to learn from my mistakes. We are now pushing north to south with 1-2 and us 1-3. We're going to hit what's called a surface. And I want you to remember this phrase. Avoid the surfaces, exploit the gaps.
Bravo, hold. Real.
Contact front. Contact front. Contact front. The permanent C line. I want to hear the guns singing.
We're getting suppressed. It's sporadic, but we're still receiving rounds, and they're walking their HE onto us. I lose the rifleman in front of me. He kind of just gets smoked. And so from here, I'm starting to recognize we're hitting a wall, right? I cannot move forward. My squad cannot move forward. This is a surface. That's when you recognize, oh shit, I'm hitting a wall, I'm hitting a surface. So what do we need to do? We need to then find a way to find a gap. But before we do that, we need to get off of the surface. Think of it like you're bouncing off of a wall. You're throwing a tennis ball against the wall. It's not getting very far. Then you throw a tennis ball at a space between two walls, and boom, that tennis ball goes through. You've exploited a gap.
1-3 is in heavy contact right south of our pause. 1-2.
We're trying to coordinate right now, right? Listen to the comms. We're trying to coordinate. Did you hear what the PL said? Let's rewind it. Pay attention to what the PL says. He's going to come over the radio after. He's going to say, Roger, the tempo is off. Roger, our tempo is off. So what happened was we took contact, the maneuver element, before the support by fire was set. That threw off our tempo. It was supposed to be conditions set, conditions met, meaning the first domino to fall should have been the support by fire setting up and suppressing the enemy, which then will boom, fall, knock over the next domino, which is the maneuver element actually locating and closing with the enemy. Unfortunately, it got flipped. The maneuver element got in contact first. SBF was still trying to occupy. So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place at the moment, and we're going to try and fight through it.
Hey, firm, we're holding bomb. Keep firing, guys. Keep shooting.
All right. I know I keep pausing this clip. Again, more self-reflection. If you've ever played with me, you know I preach heavily against trying to heal people if you're not the medic in the middle of a firefight. I'm also a firm believer that dead bodies will attract more dead bodies. In this instance, self-reflection hit, and I was like, why am I doing this right now? We're still in the firefight. My gun is now out of the fight, and so is his, because I'm trying to heal him. I should have kept my gun up and kept firing. However, the way that I rationalized this or justified what I was doing, it was still wrong. But the way I rationalized this or justified what I was doing was, I was like, oh, hey, I have enough fire superiority. There's enough suppression on our end going out towards the enemy where I should be able to heal this guy. So I'm just going to kind of fast forward through this. You're about to get a hip pocket 30-second medical class in Bellum. If you have any damage to your limbs, tourniquet it first and then bandage it. If you have damage to your limbs and your torso or your head, tourniquet the limbs, bandage torso and head, then go back and bandage your limbs. Boom, easy day. There's your TCCC class, Tactical Combat Casualty Care for Bellum if you're not the medic. Just like that. I just saved you 30 minutes for a medical class. I'm trying to fast forward through this. We're still fighting on the surface.
Mark is accurate. Mark is accurate. Alpha team flank. Alpha team flank. Bravo.
All right, so you hear me start saying alpha team flank. We're using coordination on this part right here. We've recognized, if you heard the PL, he said the support fire is about to get set and they're about to occupy. I'm using that as my get out of jail free card. Okay, SPF is about to go hot. I need to start preparing my guys to move.
Bravo base of fire. Bravo base of fire.
I'm going to have my Bravo team be the base of fire. They're going to allow me freedom of movement to take my Alpha team to flank out on the right side. Pay attention how I didn't stand up and run straight perpendicular. I stood up and went back into cover so I could use a terrain to mask or to hide my maneuver, my movement around and away.
go, Alpha. We're flanking. Let's go. We're flanking. Action right. Action right. Bravo team, keep suppressing.
That machine gun fire you hear is finally 1-4. The machine gun guys, they're finally engaging, right? I hear that, I recognize that, and I'm like, this is our time. This is the opportunity. We need to seize the opportunity given to us or the ones we make ourselves.
Okay. 1-4, we're taking contacts 180.
Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. Come on, let's keep the momentum up.
One thing to note, you will never hear myself and hopefully another member of TWS or the Warfighting Society start to become disrespectful, bitch, moan, complain, or just start yelling indiscriminately at people in a video game. It's just a video game. We take the game serious, not ourselves. Leadership-wise, I want you guys to think about, would you follow someone who's constantly shitting on you and being an asshole? Probably not. So when you lead people in this game, I'm looking at you, squad leaders. I'm looking at you, fire team leaders. I'm looking at you and anyone in the command team. If you're just shitting on people and just being an asshole, especially the newer players, honestly, this is not the game for you. Like, I'm going to be frank, you should not be playing this game. Unless you're willing to have the patience to help people become better in the game, don't play. It's going to ruin the community. I wasn't yelling at those dudes to get up and move. I was like, get up and move, you slow sons of bitches. Like, I just said, get up, come on, let's go, let's move. I'm firm, but I'm not being an asshole.
4 and 1 are in contact or direct south. Raj 4, send me one gun to 1-6's position.
That was an RPG coming off from direct front of. Oh.
All right, another thing. If you're going to sit and try and lay an ambush, you need to be paying attention to your ambush site. This guy, I don't know what he was looking at. So I don't know. We just decided to give him a permanent dirt nap.
Contact right. He's down. He's down.
He was holding that linear danger area pretty well. He had a pretty good sight line. One, he didn't conceal himself very well, and two, he wasn't paying attention, so he got dropped.
This is 2 potential mass fell on my left flank. Raj 2, 3, sit rep. 1-4, I had 1-5 get mass cast from the school. We got potential from the rear.
Right there.
Excuse me.
Coming to you now.
What you don't see right now, and for more context, is we've identified that the cache is somewhere in this little market area, or whatever you want to call it. We don't know it yet, but it's in that blue house. We don't know exactly where the enemy is shooting at us from, because it looked like they did a pretty good job at a defense in depth, where they held the current tree line that you see me standing in, and then they displaced and withdrew back to another ridge line, which is going to be that rocky outcropping that you see kind of middle right side of the screen. We don't know this yet, though.
1 and 4, I need you guys fighting towards your southeast.
I spot these two dudes skylined on the ridgeline at the last second, and either I'm a magician or I'm extremely lucky, and you're about to see why.
This position.
That dude somehow whiffed that RPG, and it gave me a haircut. This thing, you can see the warhead in my holographic sight. You see that moving on the left side of my holographic sight? That's the warhead. That's on its way, and it just explodes. Look, it has to have landed right behind me. Like, I'm not even gonna be mad. But now we've identified where the enemy withdrew to, and now their new defensive position, which is going to be that ridgeline I just pointed out to you, overlooking the cache site.
Nice. Go, go.
Fast forward some more. We end up having to pull back because there's just too many enemy holding that ridgeline, and it was just me and a fire team. So we hit another surface. We got to pull back. We then recognize, hey, if we get enough bodies, we can try and do this. And if we get enough geometries of fire, not geometries of fire, if we get enough fire superiority onto that ridgeline, which seemed to be the only place they were trying to defend from, we can then push into that blue house. At this point, we have identified that the cache is in the blue house. So I'm gonna roll the clip, and I want you to just look at the coordination and the cohesion of the platoon as a whole.
Go, push to the house, push to the house. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Back up with you right from the AO to get us teams one back in.
Copy. Keep withdrawing so they can spawn in. 1-6, this is 1-3. We're back in the fight. We're back in the fight. We're pushing it. We need mass firepower on that blue house. What side of blue house is cash? 1-9.
No clue. I got friendlies on there right now.
1-3's moving in with C4. Cover me. I say again, 1-3's moving in with C4. Cover me.
Red can spawn on blue. I believe you need to be back here.
AI devs, if you're watching this, you guys did a great job with the concussion effect. This felt cinematic. Like I felt like I was in a movie.
Where's the cash?
Look at all these Dead House
Where's
alum
the
dudes.
cash? Where's the cash? Where?
This guy was in the shit. Did you hear him yelling on the radio? This guy was in it, dude. He was immersed. This game sometimes it again, dude. It gives me very nostalgic memories of like Project Reality days, early 2015 Squad, when it was just like
going down on cash. Cover me. Cover me.
it was a movie. It was a movie.
Burning. GG's, boys. GG's.
There it is.
Guys, good game.
There's game. And I want you guys to think about something, right? You saw that push onto that cache. Think of the trifecta we talked about. Speed, surprise, violence of action. Think about Sam K. Think about the logistics, the coordination, cohesion. All of these things that came together to ensure a victory or mission accomplishment. There's another class or another like breakdown video I'm going to be doing later where we're going to talk about like more urban operations and like the rig C process and stuff like that, and just mount modern operations in urban terrain. We'll talk about that as well in a different video. But that's the end of the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took something away from it. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them in the comment section. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to do more stuff like this. We're going to do gear setup videos. I know we have a lot of airsoft enthusiasts out there who do airsoft videos. I'm going to try and get as much just tactical stuff as I can compiled into this channel and into the Warfighting Society Discord, so that people who enjoy stuff like this, they can come in and they can just have just an open forum of where we talk about tactics, talk about gear, talk about guns, just bullshit, you know, and just be a community. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I hope you guys are willing to interact, and we'll see you guys in the next one.